Welcome back to German with John Berlin, and in today's lesson we'll be doing a very important exercise to practice the table we learned in the last lesson. In the last lesson we saw how the personal pronouns in German are structured according to the three cases of the person doing the action, person receiving the action, and the person receiving the action indirectly. That means nominative, accusative, and dative. Yes, we did some sample questions, some sentences to understand the concept, but now to further understand this table and to kind of try and master it, here's a funny looking sentence which will kind of put perspective onto this table, and we'll try to learn these pronouns in a horizontal fashion like we had spoken before. For example, as we can see it again, ich, mich, mir, I, me, to me, du, dich, dir, you, to you, as, yes, ian, yes, ihm, ihr, ihm, he, she, it, him, her, it, to him, to her, to it, wir, uns, we, us, to us, ihr, euch, you all, to you all, sie, ihnen, they, them, to them, and the formal second person, sie, ihnen, you, to you. We'll use these, but this time for dative, we will not be using to whom, that is, we'll not be saying to me, to you, to him, to her, to it, or to us, to you all, to them, to you. We'll rather be saying for. So this time we'll be making the sentences for the question, for whom. Let's see how it goes. Now, here the sentences are written in English. We just need to fill in the missing personal pronouns in German. So basically, these are the personal pronouns which we need to fill in German, which are written right here. Yes. So for example, I am a good person. Who is a good person? We go to who, I, ish. Perfect. Let's write ish. Okay. Fantastic. Okay. You invite me. Who invites whom? So basically you invite me. Whom do you invite? Me. So we go to whom. We find me. It's mich. Perfect. So you invite. Let's take this off and write mich. You bake for me a cake. So who bakes for whom what? So basically you bake for me a cake. We need to replace for me. So it's basically for whom. We go to for whom and we find for me, which is mir. So let's write here mir. So I'm a good person. Ich bin eine gute Person. You invite me. Du lädst mich ein. You bake for me a cake. Du backst mir einen Kuchen. Okay. Moving forward, you are a good person. I invite you. I bake for you a cake. Who's a good person? We go to who. We find out it's du. We write here du. Yes, I invite you. Whom do I invite? We go to whom. We find out whom do I invite? It's dich. So we write here dich. I bake for you a cake. For whom do I bake a cake? We go to for whom. We find out dir, for you. So we remove for you and we write instead dir. Yes, fantastic. Now moving forward to third person, let's talk about a friend from Spain. Yes. Now he is a good person. Who is a good person? Let's find out. He. So instead of he here, we could have written er. Yes. I invite him. Whom do we invite? Whom do I invite? We go to whom. We find out him. It's Ian. So let me write here Ian. Okay. Now what do I do next? I bake for him a cake. For whom do I bake a cake? We go to for whom. And we find out for him. It'll be ihm. So please note, I'm not writing for him. I'm just writing ihm, which itself means for him. Yes, perfect. Now moving forward, okay, let's delete these additional words. Okay, he we've already written, him we've already written, and for him we just wrote fantastic, which is ihm. So ist eine gute Person. Ich lade ihn ein. Ich backe ihm ein Kuchen. Yes, he's a good person. I invite him. I bake for him a cake. Now we could do this for feminine as well. For the French, she comes from France. We could say she's a good person. So who's a good person? We'll go to who. We'll find out she, which is sie. So instead of who, we could instead write here sie. Yeah, it's not capital. Okay, I invite her. Whom do I invite? We go to whom and we find out her. It's once again sie. Okay, so let's get back, remove her, and instead we can write here sie. Perfect. Now I bake for her a cake. Now for her, yes, for whom do I bake a cake? We go to for whom, we find out for her, which is ihr. So I'll remove for her from here and I'll write ihr. Yes, perfect. So sie ist eine gute Person. Ich lade sie ein. Ich backe ihr ein Kuchen. Now if your question is, there are two z's, they both look the same, how to know this is she and this is her? The answer is, this is sie, and as you can see, it is used with a verb. Is a verb, and that's why it is she. And here sie is used after the verb, which is invite. That means it's not nominative, it's accusative. That's why it's her. So basically, if a pronoun is with a subject, with the verb, it's the subject. If it's after the verb, it's an object. Okay, that's your answer. Now moving forward, let's say we are good people. They invite us, they bake for us a cake. Who are good people? We go to who and we find out we, that's we are. So we write down here, we remove we, write we are. We are good people. They invite us. Whom do they invite? We go to whom, yes, and we find us, which is uns. So instead of us, here we write uns. Okay. Perfect. They bake for us a cake. For whom do they bake a cake? We go to for whom and we look for us, which is again uns. Yes, as you can see here. So we'll remove for us and we'll write simply uns. Yes, perfect. So as you can see, uns means for us. We don't need to write for additionally, it is already inside it. Yes, and now your question could be, there are two uns, for us and us. How to know when it is for us? How to know it is us? The answer is simple. When it's the indirect person receiving an object, like here, it's for us. We are receiving the action through the cake. So it's basically for us. Yes. And here we are directly receiving the invitation. It's us. So this is us. This is for us. So in Deutsch, wir sind gute Leute. Sie laden uns ein. Ja. Sie backen uns ein Kuchen. Okay. Now moving forward. You all are good people. We invite you all. We bake for you all a cake. Yes. So who are good people? We go to who and we find out it's ihr. Yes. So instead of you all, we can write ihr. Now we invite you all. Whom do we invite? We go to whom and we find out you all, which is euch. So we can remove you all and instead of you all, we can write euch. Yes. And we bake for you all a cake. For whom do we bake a cake? So basically we go to for whom and we find out for you all, which is again euch. So we remove for you all and we can write here euch. Perfect. Again, your question could be, there are two euches, one is you all, one is for you all or to you all. How can we find out? Pretty simple. If it's in this sentence, we invite you all, euch is basically the direct object. Directly they are receiving the action, euch. That's why it's you all. In the second sentence, we bake for you all a cake. Yes, here euch is an indirect object since it's receiving the action through the cake. Yes, so it's for you all. Perfect. Now moving to the next sentence, they are good people, we invite them, we bake for them a cake. So again, who are good people? We'll go to who, we'll go to third person plural, they, which is ze. So I'll remove you and I'll write ze. They are good people, ze are good person, they are good. Okay, I wrote it in the wrong place. Okay, moment. It should be they are good people. So ze are good people. Yes, we invite them. So whom do we invite? We go to whom and we find out third person plural, which is them. It is ze. Perfect. Once again, we'll remove them and we'll write ze. Now your question once again could be, both are looking familiar, ze and ze. In this it is they, in this is them. How to know which is when? So this time the answer is again the same. Ze is the person doing the action and it's always with the verb. That's why it needs to be the subject. So it's they, and this comes after the verb invite, and that's why it's an object. So it's accusative. Yes, so it's them. We invite them and we bake for them a cake. So for whom do we bake a cake? We go to for whom and we find out for them, which is ihnen. So let's find out. Remove for them and we just write here ihnen. So let's say in German, Sie sind gute Leute, wir laden Sie ein, wir backen Ihnen einen Kuchen. Okay, now fundamentally these first two, 1, 2, 3 singular plural are finished. We have an additional pronoun, as we know in German, for second person formal. So let's do a sentence. I'll repeat the sentence this time, but formally I'll say to you, you are a good person. Let's say I'm saying it to my professor, you're a good person. I invite you, I bake for you a cake. So I will not say du bist eine gute Person, ich lade dich ein, ich backe dir einen Kuchen. That'll be wrong. It'll be casual. I need to be formal. So I'll rather say, who is a good person? You are. So we go to who and find you. It's capital Z. Yes, just like the third person plural. Z. You are a good person. I invite you. Whom do I invite? I go to whom and I look here for you, formal. It's the big Z. Remove you and write Z. Yeah. So you are a good person. I invite you. I bake for you a cake. For whom do I bake a cake? I go to for whom and I find out for you it's ihnen. So instead of for you, I'll remove for you and I'll simply write ihnen with a capital I. Yes. Now in the first two sentences, Sie are a good person. I invite Sie. You'll say both are Z's. Which to know is they, which to know is you, which to know is the other you. Yes. Accusative one. Basically it's simple. This is the pronoun used with the verb, needs to be subject, which is you, and this, which comes after the verb in the second sentence. The verb is invite. So who invites whom? This is answering whom. This is accusative. So this is accusative. Perfect. So this was a little exercise in which we simply tried to use these pronouns horizontally. Ich, mich, mir. As you can see here, ich, mich, mir, du, dich, dir, er, ihn, ihm, sie, ihr, wir, uns, ihr, euch, sie, ihnen, and sie, ihnen, second person formal. Yes, fantastic. So this was a little exercise which we'll be again repeating in the future lessons, completely in German. So this would be good if you repeat this and try this in the workbook, in which you could by yourself fill in the answers with the logic of who is inviting whom and begging for whom. Yes, perfect. So thanks for joining me in this lesson with this funny looking sentence, which I can guarantee you will help you find the meanings of these personal pronouns. This is John Berlin signing off till the next lesson. See you.